Welcome back to another video. I am back home now. A recap from the last video because a lot of people, it was a terrible camera, trying a new phone stand that failed miserably, and so it's recapping from that. I have all these cards here, and it's a Walmart challenge. You can only use cards you bought at Walmart, sealed. Can't buy online. I made one exception because it was COVID, but now that stuff's starting to calm down a little bit, that exception is gone. But took 3 of these Wave of Light structure decks, and I saved some time. And this is what I originally had planned. And this is the deck I'm going to be going off of for the moment. I do have a Dino deck just in case, but just in case this one fails. But we're going to go over this using only cards, and I did get a couple of more packs too, but I'm not really going to go over that. Alright, so starting off our fairy deck. It is Wave of Light Fairies. Two Sacred Arcanite Parshath. I don't know why my camera is having problems, but 2 Sacred Arcanite Parshath. It's the boss monster of the deck. 3 of them seems kind of bricky, but 1 of them you don't see enough, and if it gets banished or whatever, it can't be brought back. So, next, well, I suppose I should read its effect first. Sorry, my voice seems a little bit groggy. I have also a minor headache. I was exposed to COVID. Now, let's not jinx myself, but, so, you can, whenever a counter trap is activated, you can banish 2 fairies from your hand, field, or grave. To special summon this card, does piercing damage. When it inflicts damage to your opponent, you can search a Parshath card from your deck to your hand. Bountiful Artemis. Whenever a counter trap is activated, you draw a card. Power Angel Valkyria. Whenever and you negate the effect of an activation, so not a counter trap, or not just a counter trap. You add 1 light fairy to your hand. Yep, light fairy. Next, you can only use the effect of Valkyria once per turn. Guiding Aerodine. If you know anything about fairies, this one's a must. You're going to use both effects. It's a pendulum effect. It's a scale of 3, and you don't need to pay life points or discard cards to activate the effect of it, that monster. And Ultimate Providence is pretty much just a free negate anything. Why is it so blurry? I don't know why it's so blurry. I seriously don't know why it's so blurry. I'm so sorry. But, and then its main monster effect is when it gets destroyed in general, whether it be by pendulum scale or not. You can reveal 3 counter traps from your deck, and your opponent picks 1 of them to add to your hand. I like trolling around. It's just like, oh, let's do Ultimate Providence, Ultimate Providence, Ultimate Providence. Well, there's a good choice for you. Next, Meltiel, Sage of the Sky at 2. When you activate a counter trap, gain 1,000 life points. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, destroy a card opponent controls. That's the main monsters for the fairies. Moving on to the hand traps. Got Triple Honest. Would make sense. Whenever a battle is involved between your light monster and opponent's monster, you can discard this card and have your monster gain attack equal to your opponent's monster. So let's just say it's Sage of the Sky. It's got 1600 attack points. Attacking into Blue Eyes. You trigger Honest or Blue Eyes attacking into it. Either way work. But you trigger Honest, and then your monster would gain 3000 attack points. For example. And for the other hand trap, which I was very lucky, I decided to get some more just random packs. And Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I got triple Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Dual Devastator Edition 2. And it's an amazing, amazing artwork. I love it. I got it from one of those. I decided to get like 15 of those 25 card packs. It's guaranteed one rare. And I ended up getting triple Ghost Ogre. Slim to none chance, but Ash Blossom would have been better because Ash Blossom negates. But, yeah. And I can't believe Ash Blossom is a $15 card for a common. It's a little excessive. I don't remember how much Ghost Ogre is. It's probably like $5, if that. Moving on to the spells, Triple Ties of the Brethren. This card is very useful. Ghost Ogre, when your opponent activates an effect of a monster or spell trap that's already face up on the field, so a field spell or a continuous spell. Mainly, you can destroy it. But Ties of the Brethren, you can target one level 4 monster, or level 4 or lower monster you control. For the rest of this turn after this resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. Also, special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level as that monster, but different names from each other and that monster. You cannot conduct the battle phase you activate this effect either. So pretty much it's a once per turn, because once you use it, you can't use another one because it's special summons. But you can play something like Honest, or play any of your level 4s. Use this, bring out Honest and another one, or if you played Honest, you can pull out something else. If you have counter traps, I would suggest doing something like Malteel and Valkyria, or Bountiful. But if you don't have very many counter traps, I would suggest doing Guiding Aerodine and Honest, and then the last one can be whatever. Sanctum of Barshath, its name becomes Sanctuary in the Sky while it's on the field. All fairy monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. Or it's Sanctuary in the Sky while on field or Grave, but Grave doesn't matter as much. Set spell trap cards cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. That is amazing. So they can't Mystical Space Typhoon. Or they can't Cosmic Cyclone. Once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters and or counter traps with different names in your graveyard and place them on the top of your deck in any order. That we're going to use a few times, but not like crazy often. Next, we got 2 Sanctuary in the Sky. So you're running a total of 5 Sanctuaries. Any battle damage you take from fairies is reduced down to 0 through fairies. So if their Blue Eyes attack your Melteal, you would take 0 damage. But yeah, whoever controls the fairy, it also does apply to your opponent, which I found out the hard way playing in Duel Links, I think. Against Charmers. Opponent took my fairy monster, I went to attack into it and they didn't take any damage. But, I mean, a lot of people don't run fairies nowadays. Alright, that's it for the spells, so it's not very many spells. If you want to also run one Valhalla, or Vanhella, however you pronounce it, Hall of the Fallen, instead of Sanctuary, go ahead. Next, the best trap card in this deck, Rebirth of Parshath. It is, if you don't have Guardian Ardyn out, it will be a little bit of a hard one to deal with. But, so, to be able to use it, you need to reveal one counter trap in your hand, discard a card, and pay 1,000 life points. 2 of those 3 can go away from Ardyn, the discarding, but you would still have to hold on to a counter trap. That won't be a huge problem, but following up with that, take that, negate the activation, and shuffle that card into the deck. This does not apply, if it does not get shuffled back in the deck, if it was an ability that costed to banish, send to grave, or whatever. So if it says, you can destroy this card, then you can do this. You can negate it, yes, same cost and everything, but you wouldn't shuffle it back into the deck. And then, if that card was successfully shuffled back into the deck, then you can special summon a Parshath monster from your deck or extra deck. So it's not only on a typical, not only are you getting shuffling back into the deck, so not in the grave, something like Witchcrafters, where they have graveyard effects, or something that runs off in the grave. Then it's getting put back in the deck. Sometimes it's not so good, but when they need that card in the graveyard, better than the deck, it's definitely better. Next, Triple Divine Punishment. One of the cards that Rebirth would work on well is, what's it called? Fubber Nuggets. Return of the Dragon Lords. Because Return of the Dragon Lords likes being in the grave to protect. Not only do you stop their summon, you also put that card back into the deck. But next Divine Punishment, if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, you're allowed to activate this card. If you don't have Sanctuary, I would keep it in your hand for Rebirth, because, yeah. And then it can negate any effect. Just like Ultimate Providence, it's the same thing, but instead of Sanctuary, you need to discard a card of the chosen type. Ardyn would prevent that, so Ultimate Providence can stop anything without any cost. And that is super powerful in my opinion, but Ardyn does take up one of your spell trap zones because it's a pendulum monster. Next, to Drastic Drop Off. I was debating whether to run this at 2 or 3. When your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, including drawing, they have to discard one of those cards. So if they play like Pot of Greed, draw 2, example, then they would have to discard one of the 2 cards they drew. But if they're doing something like searching to their hand, then they would have to discard the card they searched. And then last but not least, Grand Horn of Heaven. Your opponent would special summon a monster. You can negate that or activate an effect. When they would special summon a monster, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. Then your opponent draws 1 card, and then ends the main phase. Sure, you're giving your opponent a card, but giving them a card isn't too big of a problem. Just the fact that you're ending the main phase as soon as they go to summon a monster, special summon a monster, is huge. But, unfortunately, there's really not much I can do with this. Extra deck wise, because what I did get extra deck wise doesn't really... I got like Digital Bugs, which I can't even use in a fairy deck. The only extra deck monster that I might be able to use would be Bujin, however you pronounce that. If you can only control 1 once per turn during either player's turn. You can detach this effect, apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, target one of your banished level 4 lower special summon that target, level 4 lower monsters. And then during your opponent's turn, target one of your banished level 4 lower monsters, add that target to your hand. So that would be useful when it comes down to stuff like, oh, you need to banish 2 fairies to special summon Sacred Arcanite Parshath. But there's really nothing in the way of Parshath that's going to help. Also, a little addition to my Mechana deck, which I might as well, so I'm not doing it later. I got number 107 Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. So, expect him to see more plays. It's another one of those cards I got from the 25 card pointless pack. But, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in a future one. Peace out.